So for a while now, there has been a thing going on with Toon Critic's evil twin brother who, from what I can tell, has now engulfed TK's very soul. Ever since that newbie dash video of theirs, the dark side of TK, known as CarToonz, spelled with a Z, has been on an ego-stroking rampage to the point where he's getting his image onto other people's channels. This even happened to me at some point when I was announcing my Anime Midwest movement, as he momentarily evaded my channel. Or at least I allowed him to because Keiichi asked nicely. For a while I've been asked by a few on what I think of CarToonz and his crusade to become the new face of the Brony analysis community, a subculture in the Brony fandom that everyone, even members of the analysis community, haven't really given a shit for since season 4 ended. So having given into peer pressure, I decided to take a moment of my time to study this guy. Not talk about, study. Now, when I first saw CarToonz, I thought this was going to lead into an interesting storyline. Maybe one where Toon would reveal some personal things about his past and try to overcome them in a battle with CarToonz that really challenges their duality. And while something like that does happen, it quickly turns into another I quit situation, as where CarToonz is now in complete control of TK's channel. From there, it just dissolves into a one-sided and completely boring overuse of this guy's ego, trying to present himself as edgy and egocentric as possible. I'm well aware that this is all a character and it's not actually Zack, but in the short amount of time I've been exposed to this alternate persona, I got completely tired of it. It has more than overstayed its welcome, and I'm going to point out how this one falls flat for several reasons. First, there's the design. He's wearing a black hoodie sweater while wearing an Ash Ketchum hat and striped glasses that I can only assume are made of plastic. It's a very uninteresting design on its own, and it doesn't really stand out or have anything artistic to it. But combined with the knowledge that this design is being used to present himself as edgy, it only makes it more annoying. And the beforehand knowledge that his OC is red and black is certainly not helping. Now let me just take a moment to restate one thing that has grabbed me in particular, the Ash Ketchum hat. Do you realize what you're doing, good sir? You're practically presenting the Pokemon anime, a sorry excuse for a show that shits on character development and made Pikachu lose to a fucking water monkey. If you're really trying to come across as edgy, you could have honestly gone with another hat, one that would better match the black coat and glasses. But no, let's go with the most typical choice possible, a basic red and white cap. Now, for the actual personality of CarToonz, I've been watching it for a while now, and I've already said that it's uninteresting to me, but I've yet to actually say why. He seems to be really attention hungry, which is further elaborated by how he invaded everybody's channels. He's confident and very sure of himself given how he challenges others, and given his edginess, he uses it as a means to convince others as well as himself that he's superior, a superiority complex if you will. All of these things could have made for a likable, ego-driven character, but unfortunately, none of it is done in an interesting way. The way that he's presenting all of these character traits with that snarky attitude and that unengaging design clearly shows that it's all being done to make himself look like a big shot. It would be one thing if it was being done to explore the duality between CarToonz and TK, but it's not being used for that. It's clearly being done just to show Zack's embrace of this new personality. Every single time he starts talking about how he's going to dominate everyone, it really gives the vibe that he's just trying too hard. Even spelling his name with a Z because he thinks it's cool doesn't do much outside of just hammer in the fact that he's ego-driven. There's literally nothing else to this persona beyond that. It's just him shoving his ego in people's faces. I apologize that I didn't really go out to make fun of this character as you would expect me to, or as you were hoping me to, but this persona really doesn't give me anything to work off of. For one thing, I just finished doing a roast of Lily Pete, who was more warranting of a roast because there was more subjects surrounding her for me to tackle, and secondly, even if I wanted to call out this new persona of Zack's and make fun of it, the jokes would have gotten old very fast. He doesn't really do anything outside of just presenting his ego and making himself look like a big shot. There's only so many times I could make jokes about those two things alone before they run dry. And third, I just didn't think that it was worth it. For me to roast the guy would imply that I have a gripe against him, but it's not like he's doing anything really wrong. It's just too boring for me to get into, and because it leaves me bored without anything of actual interest to me thrown into the mix, I felt a lacking amount of motivation to tackle this persona in the first place. If by some chance there will be a future plot point that TK actually reclaims his balls and tries to fight off CarToonz for control of his channel, I'd be very welcoming of it. It'll give CarToonz more to do than just push his ego, and it could make for a fun high-stakes conflict, in that he now must fight off against his creator in order to keep the high ground that he's claimed in the last several weeks. But as of right now, CarToonz seems to be your basic run-of-the-mill dark twin of an established character. He's egocentric, pushy, edgy, defiant, snooty, and in all the ways that isn't interesting. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm dreading this upcoming Friday where my mother will force me into watching Ice Age Collision Course. Until next time, take care of yourselves. MisAnthro Pony, over and out.